Well, the last portion, how much time have we left? Okay, so we'll quickly talk about finding the right tool. There are so many tools that are available out there. And what I've tried to do with the book, sorry, can I borrow a book there? Thank you. So what I've tried to do with this book is, I've tried to mention some of the tools that you can use for specific tasks. And these tools vary a lot. So you can go and buy Salesforce and combination of Marketo that might cost $5,000 per month or something like that. Or you can buy a tool that is medium, that is according to your need, that might cost you $30 per month or $20 per month. Or you can go and get some free accessible tools that are available out there. Or some very simple things like IFTTT. Have anyone heard of IFTTT? Yes. Yep.
If then this.
Yes, if this, then that. And it works really well. It allows you to connect your website with your marketing automation tool, your mobile with something else. So it allows you to do a lot of marketing automation stuff with IFTTT. So what you can do is you can look at these use cases and see which tool can serve my particular use case and go and get that tool rather than trying to buy a Salesforce or Marketo. And on the page 67, what I've tried to do is I've tried to put a tool snapshot, which sort of talks about different tools, how these different tools apply to different businesses. Either they are for large businesses or small businesses or medium businesses, and what are some of the key features of those businesses. Because at the end of the day, when you are implementing automation, you wouldn't be implementing automation on all those processes. You would be picking up one or two things, or at least one or two of those processes, and you would be implementing automation on that. So rather than going outright and buying that tool, it's always good to refer back to what your requirements are and look what are the tools that can offer those minimum requirements. Is there anything else? Questions, please?
I've got a question.
Sure.
When you go onto a website, so we're building a new website for the initiative that I work on, which is Grow. And one of the things we're thinking about is it being an interactive website, so some of the automation tips you've given are great. One of the things I don't like about websites that you go onto that engage you and start an automated process, you were talking about the risks of annoying people, I think lots of businesses do that well, and we don't want to step into that space. And so I guess I'm interested, when somebody goes to your website, can your website have the back-end functionality to be able to know when that person comes back, so that, for example, if there was going to be, you were talking earlier about you can access this, but if you want to access that, you're going to need to give us your email address, for example, that doesn't happen to a person twice, that they don't have to every time come in and enter a registration number or show that, do they recognise their computer or their phone or is that a functionality that's available?
Right, so the question is that whether there's any functionality that is available that allows you to know who your users are, which means if you are implementing an automation for them for one time, you are not implementing that automation again and again for them, or you're implementing some different automation. So definitely websites now have the ability to actually capture and understand who that particular person is, and not only just by the device ID, but by a particular behavior. So if someone is coming via their computer on your website, and second time is coming via his mobile phone on your website, websites have got the power now to actually, and sort of this is one of the main important features of a website, is to know who that person is, and how many times he has visited us earlier, and what is the purpose of his visit as well. What are the portions that he's looking at? So definitely we are now able to track people, who the people are and why are they coming for and when are they coming back. It's really important, as you said, to use that information for right purposes, which means you use that information to ensure that there's no hassle for them. And the one tip that I give to everyone is, when you are thinking of implementing any automation, think of not implementing automation, but still doing that process on your own and keeping yourself in customer shoes, would you like to see something like that? If not for the sake of automation, would you still have done something like this? And would your customer be happy about it, or would your customer be irritated with it? So understanding that fine line, finding the right and the best practices, and then automating them on the basis of the information that's available. But just definitely that information is available. Any other questions?
Okay, I've got a B to that question. So could that information, so I go into a website, I've been there before, I've already registered, I'm on their CRM, they've got all my details. Could my use of, because we're building tools and a whole range of things and we want to measure who's using them, what are they, could that be captured without the user actually having to, do anything in particular, without putting sort of roadblocks?
Yep, so the only thing that you wouldn't, and the question is, can you capture all that information without putting any roadblocks or getting them to fill in the information? So you can get a lot of information about users, but you don't know who they are. Like who exactly they are, because you haven't asked them to enter their names and asked them to enter their email address, and that's the privacy that the user has. So you know that this user came from a particular location, from this particular device, and has come to our website for 4 times and is really interested, and you can modify site behaviors according to that, but you have to reach back to that user. You have to either use remarketing for that, but you cannot reach back to that user because you do not have their email address or you do not have their details.
What if you do have their email address, so that's the trigger, but what we don't want them to have to do is re-register, identify themselves every time they come in. So we've already captured them, they're in our CRM, they're a user of our tools.
Yep.
But what I'm interested in is capturing without having to survey people.
Yep.
How often?
Absolutely, you can capture any of their behavior. If you already have their email address, if you already know who that person is, then you can capture all what they are doing through each and every step, and you do not have to intervene each and every time. There are some specific information that you need to ask them that are not obvious from their behavior, but things like what they are doing on the website, what are they trying to search for, what they are looking at, what they are not looking at, and stuff like that can be easily accessible. Yep. We have a question there.
My question is, in an ideal world, would it be that website is being developed at the same time as you're implementing sort of process, the automation, or are they 2 separate processes and it doesn't matter that your website already exists, or?
Okay. Yep. That's a good question. So the question is it a good idea, or in an ideal world, do you develop website while you are implementing your sales and marketing automation, or if you have an existing website, you can actually use that website for sales and marketing automation. So as long as your website has got the features that we talked about in the smarter website, you can definitely start using that for sales and marketing automation. If you do not have a smarter website, you can still implement a sales and marketing automation, but that might not be, sorry, I can't, it's not scrolling, but you might not have a smarter website. You can still implement some parts of sales and marketing automation. But the ideal way is, if you have an existing website, you can modify your website to be able to capture the details and sort of solve the 4 purposes, which is reach, attract, engage, and capture. So you can, of course, modify your existing website and use it for sales and marketing automation. Although, if you are developing a new website, you should make sure that it's a smarter website. It has got all those features, because you would definitely require those features for sales and marketing automation. So it's always good to have that bigger picture in mind and make sure that your website is fulfilling that purposes already. Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Do we have any other questions? All right. Oh.
Just, sorry, man.
Yep.
Late entry. With one of the platforms we use on the Wheelie Bins page, it's a European-based platform for marketing. It's got CRMs and everything, but it's pretty complicated. Are there methods, or like some of these things require APIs and all that.
Yep.
Where are the resources to get someone to help you with that? Or, you know, like, you've got all the information. If
Yep.
they've used the site and bought something, or, you know, left a message or something, how do you make everything connect?
Right. So the question is, how do you make everything? You've got a website, you've got a CRM backend. How do you make sure that everything is connected and how you're easily able to access it? So most of the CRMs that sit behind the websites are not that functional because of the specific reasons, because website builders or people who have built their website are not experts in developing CRMs. So it's always a good idea to use a separate CRM, which is on a SaaS model where you are paying $15 per user or $20 per user, and then connecting it with your website. So it's just a matter of connecting it with your website for the first time, and then you can keep on doing the stuff for yourself. For example, you can use someone like us or anyone else out there. What we do with our clients is we actually help them on different steps. So we do not charge them for the whole sales and marketing automation. We look and understand their goals, and we see these are the 3 things that you need to do, or these are 5 things you need to do. Out of these 2 things are the things that we can help you in. So connecting your website with the CRM is something that we can help you in, or there are resources available that you can look at it and try and do it yourself. But once we create that connection for you, it's now easy for you to get that information to the CRM and then use that CRM for doing separate methods and processes. So it's about looking at what are the different parts that you want to integrate, see if there are any integrations that are available out there in the market, or talk to someone like us. Sometimes a lot of people come to us and we say, look, there's an integration that's already available. Why don't you try and join them? Or if you want our help, we'll just probably sort of charge you for connecting.
The email I was getting at is that, you know, there's often no real need to reinvent the wheel.
Yep.
Because there's already, you know, somebody doing the software as a service or something. But it's that bit in the middle where you know, not everybody's a software developer or integration
Yep.
people. So, you know, they're the sort of things that I look for. Well, that's great, that's good, this thing does that, how other people do it.
Right. So, and that's one of the biggest challenge out there. There are systems that exist, but they all sit in silos, and they are not made to be actually connected. And that's something that we are actually trying to educate to the web developers and putting it out there, and to educate the application developers that when you are developing a website, it's really important that you are actually developing integrations with the system so that it can work with those tools. Although there are some things like IFTTT or Zapier that allows you to create connections between two different tools, but they still need a bit of knowledge and understanding. So there's definitely a gap between software development at the moment. Yeah. All right, any other questions? Oh, we have got one more question here.
I just want to make a comment too on web design. There are plenty of tools that can show you how your website's being used, where people land, what hotspots are, how much they scroll down. You can subscribe to them, but there's quite a lot that you can sign up for 30 days free trial, which will give you an idea of how your website works. And I think that's really useful too. So you can get a sense of where your customers are going and what they're looking at, and that then ties back into how you do what you've been saying today, which is fantastic.
Yeah, that's an excellent idea, and I do it myself as well. So all of the tools that are out there, they've got a 30 days subscription, a free trial, or 15 days free trial. I go and play with those tools, and you know, you can try some different tools and see if they work for you or not. It's very flexible approach. It's not like 90s or early 2000s when you had to buy a legacy software and it would cost you a lot. So you can always play with different tools that are out there and see what works for you for specific use cases or not. Yep, any other questions or comments? Oh, we have got one more question here.
Sorry, I have one more question. My issue at the moment is I really want to be able to capture all that sort of information about my business and my client behaviour with regard to my website or potential client behaviour. But when it comes to my my clients, I want to really have a very personal relationship, and I'm just worried that even though, I get all sorts of emails that, addressed to me and you, and I know it's an automated system. I'm struggling mentally as to how you would do that, how you can do both, but
Right.
still keep it certain person,
Yeah.
not be automated.
Right. So
Is there such a thing?
yes, absolutely. So the question is that how can we probably implement some parts of automation without actually running all those automated campaigns and still maintaining that personal relationship? So one important part of sales and marketing automation is the intelligence that you get by implementing the initial parts of it. So if you look at the overall picture, most of the parts are about capturing the data and understanding your customers. And if you are able to capture the data properly and you know who your customers are and you have more details about them, now what you can do is you do not have to send 1,000 emails to them or 1,000 campaigns to them, but you can still send specific campaigns which are according to their needs, triggered to their requirements. And even if you do not want to do that, you don't want to probably send any emails to them, you just want to maintain a one-on-one or personal relationship with them, sales and marketing automation tool can help you in stuff like, for example, what kind of business are you in?
I'm a consultant.
Oh, you're a consultant, perfect. So you've got a client who's got 5 or 6, and you're working on 2 or 3 different projects with them. Now, as soon as one project is completed, you do not want to send them an email after 1 month, see how is it going, but you want to be able to pick up the phone and talk to that particular person. So what you can do is through the sales and marketing automation, you can set up reminders for yourself and allocate tasks for you so that you have it in your diary that I have to call this person at this particular time and see how's everything going with him. And after 3 months, you have something in your diary that asks you to call that particular person or set up a meeting with that person to understand how's this project going, how can we work on the next project and things like that. So you're not essentially sending them emails. And when we looked at the automation anatomy, sending emails was only one part of it. The other 4 parts were, first of all, it was about notifying yourself and allocating tasks for yourself, which means managing your workflow properly. Secondly, it's about automating some of or updating some of the fields in the database, which means that on specific triggers, you update other fields in the database, which means your database is always updated and you have always up-to-date information about your client. And then sometimes it's just about notifying other applications that you might be using for your businesses. You might be using a project management tool, or you might be updating your record somewhere else, or you might be using a system for invoicing. Now your CRM or your data place can actually be connected to your invoicing system or Xero and indicate when to send an estimate, when to send an invoice, when to send a reminder, and stuff like that. Yep, hope that answers the question. Do we have any other questions? All right, very good. Thank you so much for coming in, guys, and really appreciate that. What I would encourage you to do is go back, look at the book, explore the opportunities out there. If you have any questions, feel free to get back to me. You'll have my contact details on the book and on the website. And start playing with the automation. Thank you.